It's mostly transfer tittle-tattle going on today. Transfer rumours, transfer gossip. Most of which is probably not true. Some of it might be. If you throw enough crap at the wall, some of it will stick. But there is one in particular, which the more I hear it, the more I think, actually, this is the guy. This is the guy that David Moyes wants. I won't keep you waiting. That's Tammy Abraham, and we'll discuss him in a little bit. But we're being linked with lots and lots of different players, and it's just really interesting to watch what's going on in the build-up to the transfer window. And I know we're not there yet, but make no mistake about it, we're in it. The brinksmanship has begun because, in many respects, for a lot of these clubs, like Tony Mowbray at Blackburn Rovers, who's trying to pretend that Adam Armstrong's not for sale. For clubs like that, it's really going to be their only revenue stream at the moment, is making a transfer. They can't rely on next season's money that comes through the turnstiles, which may or may not arrive. We just don't know. So I think this is going to be something that they need to do. So he's sort of reluctantly saying he's not for sale. We've told Armstrong to stay here for another season. I don't think they can afford for him to stay there for another season. But as I've mentioned before, I don't believe that this is a player that we're particularly in for. A good player, but he just doesn't suit Moyes' style. I say style. I think he does in many respects suit Moyes' style, but I just don't think he has the physical attributes, let's say, to operate within our system and for David Moyes to use him. I also want to talk about Saïd Benrahma just a little bit in a minute as well, because I do think this is his time. I do think if it doesn't happen now for him, it's not going to happen at all. I think he won't be here next season. I think someone will make another loss on. But looking at the remaining fixtures and looking at what happened, granted, before Jesse Lingard came in, Moyes was keen to play Benrahma. Moyes was playing Benrahma against some of the lesser teams. Granted, he was playing him in the number 10 role, but he was playing him and he was using him, and he got a little run of games. He's played a lot of minutes, really. I know it's easy to think he hasn't really featured at all, but he has played quite a few minutes for West Ham since he signed. Not as many as he would have liked, but he's played and he's featured. And I think if we're not going to write it off as a total loss, then he probably should feature in the last remaining games, because we're never really going to find out how good he is or how good he can be unless we play him. And I do think we're sort of struggling a little bit to open up defences, it seems, on a regular basis. But the loss of Antonio, the longer it goes on, is really starting to hinder us. As I say, I believe players will be back for the next game, but I think I'd just like to see Benrahma. I suspect he ain't got a long-term career at West Ham. We know what Moyes is like. We know what Moyes wants to do. If Moyes fancies a player, he just puts him in. He almost can't wait to put him in. He puts him in, he stays in. Or even if he takes him out, he puts him back in again. You don't get that impression with Benrahma, but I do feel that there's a place in the team for him. I don't think we need to go ultra cautious. I understand Fornals' inclusion, Noble's inclusion, and when you've got Souček sort of sitting back and protecting the back three, back four, whatever it might be at any given time, I just think we're one attacking player too light in that situation. So I'd like to see Benrahma in there. I'd be really interested to see what happens. It's like glow coming off of my t-shirt. I've washed this t-shirt clearly so well. I don't know what's going on with this camera. Maybe it's the lights. I don't know. We'll go with it. I'll sort it out for tomorrow. I don't know. I've had my Ready Break, don't I? Or is that's like an orange glow? Anyway, doesn't matter. I've had no Ready Break at all. And you have to excuse the late upload. It's all going on at Gonzo Towers at the moment. There's a lot of decorating going on. There's things getting delivered. It's all manic at the moment. Talking about attacking midfielders, it's Lanzini. He's been linked with River Plate, which is his former club. It's a funny one, actually, with Lanzini, because clearly we're looking at a Moyes favourite here. When Moyes was there in his first stint and he played him up front with Abramovich, I remember him interviewing and saying, Lanzini is far better than I thought he was. So when he returned to West Ham, he was keen to put him back in the team, but clearly he didn't find the same player that he left, if you know what I mean. So I think Lanzini did have his chance, but I think Moyes has probably given up on him. The only question is, will River Plate be able to afford him? Now, I don't necessarily mean in terms of transfer fee, because I think money just globally, well, just I was going to say money in world football globally is down. I think money globally is down, just generally. There's basically a world recession, isn't there? So I can't imagine that River Plate are going to have bundles of money to buy Manuel Lanzini. I think we know that, and I think we'd probably accept that. I believe the most prohibitive factor in this is that Lanzini is on such high wages. I don't think River Plate are going to be able to afford it. I really don't. And then it's down to the player. How desperate is he to go home? Does he want to take a cut in wages? Now, depends how much it is. You'd think 100 grand a week's a lot of money, isn't it? Obviously, if they're going to offer him 15 grand a week or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what wages they pay over there. I really don't know. Then he's highly likely to say no, isn't he? We may find ourselves in a situation where we're paying up part of his wages. I hope not, because I don't think we're in a situation with him like we were with Jack Wilshere, where we have to subsidise his wages. Lanzini's not completely useless. I think as long as he's fit, he can have a part to play in the squad. I don't feel we need to get him out of it. And there are so many other players that are going to be leaving. That much is clear. On players coming in, we'll get to Tammy Abraham in just a second. This one here, Jean-Pierre and Sami. Jean-Pierre and Sami? I may have got it wrong. I've probably got it wrong. He plays for young boys. He's not very young. He's 20. So he probably shouldn't be playing for young. He should be playing for the old boys now. 27, 28. Scored 18 goals in 26 appearances. For those of you who don't know, the young boys play in the Swiss League. You knew that. You knew that. Newcastle, Southampton, Celtic are rumoured to be interested. He's apparently, and I quote, a 6'2" workhorse. He's not a horse, obviously. He's 6'2", high energy, great work rate, and no ego. There you go. Look, there might be something in it. Who knows? 6 million quid. But there was somebody else who, I think I remember, Maksimović was his name. Let's just go back down here. There you go. Nikola Maksimović. We've spoken about this guy before. Available on a free from Napoli. Now, this could be something. Apparently, Palace are in for him as well. And they nearly did us a favour last night. But then they let us themselves and the greater world of football down, really, by losing to Leicester City. Close. It was interesting for a while. Anyway, apparently they're in for this guy, Nikola Maksimović, on a free from Napoli. 29, he probably couldn't play for the young boys either. Ideally, we wouldn't be signing 29-year-olds, but on a free, I think you just do it. It's a little bit of a funny one because we're losing Balbuena, and there's going to be no real benefit in terms of money. We'll lose someone who's going to be leaving on a free. We'll bring someone in on a free. I guess the only thing is this guy more suited to the system than Balbuena? Will David Moyes like him more than Balbuena? And in which case, will Moyes be more inclined to play him than Balbuena? If the answer to all those is yes, then you have to say it's going to be a good transfer. We were eyed with... we were eyed? What do you mean we were eyed? I don't know what that means. I don't even know why I said it. Another goalkeeper, Dragolski. I won't even say his first name, but his surname is Dragolski. I don't know where he's from, but it seems like it should be said in that accent. I think so. Anyway, Everton, Tottenham are also linked with this player. Plus another one who I'm not even going to try and pronounce. Somebody else has said, some pundit has said that Declan Rice is one of the world's best midfielders. We know. Keep your hands off. Arsenal are open to selling Eddie Nketiah. We know this. Mowbray I've dealt with already. And and Jean-Pierre and Sami. So let's get on to now. Where has he gone? Let's get on to Tammy Abrahams. Now, I was pretty much convinced that Moyes' top target was En-Nesyri. And I still think so. But the more I hear of this, the more I think, actually, there's something going on here. It's quite clear that Tuchel at Chelsea doesn't rate Abraham, or doesn't rate him highly enough to get into his first team. I'm not even sure he overly rates Werner. I'm not sure Werner's going to be leading the line for Chelsea next season. So I'd imagine Werner would be second choice next season. Whoever they bring in will be first choice. Is Tammy Abraham? I don't think he needs to be third choice at that club. I think Tammy Abraham has proven that if given a run of games, he can be up there in the scoring charts of the Premier League. He's proven that, right? The fee is rumoured to be 25 million. He's only 23 years of age as well. Young enough to play with the young boys, clearly. 25 million doesn't seem that hefty, I have to say. I've not got it behind down the back of the sofa or anything like that. I've not got it in my wallet, 25 million. But West Ham just might. And if I look at that and I think, well, hold on a second. With 25 million, and if Lingard's 20 million or something like that, have West Ham got 45 million? I think we probably have. What with the loan facilities, what with the 20 million saved from David Moyes, from the window that was carried over. I think we do. And I think with some outgoings, which now we need teams to make their interest official in terms of Dynamo Kiev wanting Yarmolenko back to release his wages, River Plate, Lanzini, things like that. There are players that will go Valbuena. I think then we can then start to bring in the likes of Maksimović and all the others. I say all the others. A midfielder. And this is something I've thought for quite some time, that we can bolster the squad with actually 5 or 6 players, but only spend big on 2. I think that is infinitely possible. This one looks interesting. The news is so repetitive on Abraham, and I know a lot of stories that are made up are repetitive as well. But I don't know. I just see this. It's like I said about Adam Armstrong. I don't see him being a Moyes player. I can see this, and I like him, and I think he's a good player. I think he fits the profile of Moyes. I think he fits the profile of the way we play. I think he almost fits the profile of the club and what our recruitment is and should be at the moment. He lives in London, so it's not like he's got to move halfway across the world to come and play for West Ham. I don't know. I sort of believe this. I do. And I like this. I still think that we are going to go out and we're going to go and try and buy a journeyman striker like Nsame or somebody like that. I think those deals are still there. But I just think there's something in this. I think this can be done. And I'm also not ruling out sort of pilfering, for what, it's not want of a better word, that's what it would be, pilfering some of the lower leagues' best young players as well, which is sort of taking advantage. I know that, and it ain't great because they're just going to be desperate to get people off the payroll. There's no doubt about it. They're just not going to be able to commit players to big contracts. It's really important. Well, we discussed the wider world of football and how it needs a helping hand in a future video, certainly. But there's quite a lot to get your teeth in. I said there wasn't much. There's little bits and pieces of news. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll see you later.